Live. We are live, everyone, on this fine Sunday evening, morning, wherever you're watching this from. Hello, welcome back to another one of these Eurovoxx catch-ups during the summer. I'm joined with Sarah, Borak, and Stuart. How are all three of you guys this evening, morning, afternoon, whatever you are?
Hot. I'm very hot here.
Same.
It's called summer.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not complaining. I'm very happy to be hot. I see the red in my face, and I feel like maybe that's true of all of us. We're all just like, July, you know.
Well, to be fair, because in Britain we've had some patches of rain in the last week, so it's been a mixture, which it's actually been quite refreshing because it's been days where the heat's not been unbearable, which has been nice. Sarah, Borak, we have not had either of you on for one of these like summer live streams before. How have you been, Sarah? We'll go to you first. How have you been coping with post Eurovision depression and life after 2023?
I mean, it's hard. Life hits hard after Eurovision. It's like I have serious grown-up stuff to do now instead of being excited about Eurovision. But it's okay. I'll manage. The news is coming more frequently now. Just the other day, I heard the Dutch can upload their song to do Eurovision next year. So there's more news coming now, and I'm getting more excited. So I think I can manage.
You can just about. We will survive. Borak, how about you?
Actually, I'm totally agree to Sarah because I was like, when Eurovision ended, I watched it year again and again and again. But this year, we already know the host city, and we are waiting for the host who will be the host this year, etc. And lots of news coming. For example, we have new country, so there will be new national selection, etc. I don't have lots of depression this year. Actually, I'm happy about it.
Yeah, lucky you, we're not having too much Eurovision depression. Can't say so. Yeah, to be fair, we've already got some news flying in, especially compared to recent years. Sweden always like to be efficient and let us know news very quick. So I'm sure we'll get some more big announcements such as hosts, more countries confirm or withdraw. Hopefully some more that return from previous years as well. That would be nice. We've already got one. Let's continue on. Let's see who's in the comments. We've got some of our regulars here. Rai Bailey, hello to you. Evening all from Lee Fern. Hello from Sam Ravan Bakash. Rai Bailey saying, glad it's not hot weather. He doesn't like hot weather. I suppose that's just the British in you there, Rai Bailey. Clavs, hello to you. Hello, ESC Manga. Booker, hello to you. They're saying, we do not want Dewey Bob to return. Yes, that was one of the news, I suppose, from the Netherlands, that Dewey Bob, the 2016 representative, is going to apply to be a representative for 2024. Sarah, as the resident Dutch of this stream, what are your thoughts on Dewey Bob potentially returning?
I agree with not wanting him back at the Eurovision Song Contest. I mean, he had his chance. He wasn't that likable with the audience, I guess. There's been so much news involving around him in the Netherlands with children. I don't know if anyone knows this, but he has a lot of children popping up. And I don't know. I just think he lost his credibility a little bit.
Well, you got to look at the positives. If he's got more children, he might have more. He might have more friends that can vote for him around the world. That's look at the positives here. And I don't know how people can't like him. He looked directly at the camera and blew everyone a kiss, saying "I love you." It's amazing stuff. I think he's not top of my list of Dutch acts to return. I wouldn't hate it depending on what he sent, but I don't know. Slow Down is just a fine song for me in 2016. Stu, Borak, are you Dewey Bob lovers, haters? What are your thoughts on him?
Actually, I can say that thank you. I met with him in last March in Amsterdam. There was a karaoke bar and he attended it, so I met with him in there. So he was very likable. Actually, I just surprised because I didn't realize that he is that much likable in the 2016. And in that time, he told me that okay, I want to go back to Eurovision again. Do you think I need to do etc.? I think if he come back again, probably he will come back with the better song than that song. I forgot that song name. And if he come back, I wouldn't be sad actually.
Sure.
I would actually look forward to it. I do kind of take the point of when thinking about Slow Down as a song and thinking about Eurovision in general. Like it wasn't the most competitive song, and he seemed to be really confident in it, which is obviously good. But it wasn't necessarily the kind of song that could benefit from Eurovision the most. But with that said, I've heard some of his other stuff, and I honestly wouldn't mind. I just hope that it would be, that maybe he would take a little bit of what he learned from his first experience into the next one. As for like how he is as a character, I don't really. I've heard all the stories about his multiple children and all that, and I don't really care much for that. But in any case, I wouldn't necessarily mind it. But I do think that when talking about the Netherlands, I have heard a lot of people talk about how they want to see a different style, and though that's not necessarily like the same as what we've been seeing from the Netherlands for the last few years. The tendency since Anouk has been, you know, slower songs, sometimes with a bit of a country angle to it, and while there've been many great songs, I suppose that there is this desire to just see something that's a step outside of that, like a substantial step outside of that, because obviously the Netherlands has such a large music industry. So I can understand the desire to send something different, and if it were to be a returning act, the likeliness of it being different would be pretty small.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, let's wait and see what the Netherlands are going to send with their internal selection and a new head of delegation as well. So maybe a fresh approach for them. Let's say hello to more of the comments here. Hello to Jesse Kulper. Hello to Mark. Can't wait to wear cuddly jumpers again. He's not an outdoor person as well. Hello to Alexander. Love your profile picture. He loves Slow Down. Would like to see something similar to this from 2024. Meanwhile, Lee Phone on the other side, he's not against Dewey returning. So many artists have returned. Oh no, he's in favor. So many artists have returned, but not always for the better. Yeah, it's about a 50-50, I'd say. For every Helena Paparazzu, there's a Dan International as well when it comes to returning artists. Ry Bailey saying, hope not. He didn't like his song in 2016. And Lee Fern, of course, the iconic. I never got the 10-second pause in the Eurovision version of Slow Down. What was that all about? Question: did you prefer the pause in Slow Down or the pause in Halane?
Do we have to prefer one over the other? Maybe we could have done without both of them.
You can dislike both of them, but which one?
Of the two, I guess I would take the one in Slow Down because it fits the context of the song. Whereas in Falane, I really liked Falane, but that was a bit unnecessary, a bit of like shoehorning a gimmick into a performance that was already pretty well put together. So I'll go with Slow Down on this one.
All right, one vote. Anyone else or similar vibes?
Yeah, I agree. I would take Slow Down over Halane because it just looks wise. I mean, they were both unnecessary in my opinion. I don't really get that so long of a pause. I mean, it's not really necessary to bring a song. But Douwe, I mean, I didn't like the song, but I like his looks. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'll take this 10-second wink. Wink at me all you want.
Just pause the screen as well, make it longer.
Yeah.
Borak?
For me, I just don't like that kind of, pause in during the performance because for me, they're just losing the attention. They're just losing the soul. So I just don't like both of them.
Fair enough. Fun fact, both of them ended up performing slot-free in the final. Just a weird statistic that ended up working out for both of them. Didn't necessarily in the scoreboard work out for them, but who cares? A couple people with some comments on Netherlands. Honestly, you just like to hear something not sad from the Netherlands. And Ry Bailey saying, liked Netherlands send a dance bop. And I saw this comment and I was thinking in my head, when was the last time Netherlands did send a dance bop? And I feel like the closest things you've sent to that is like 2009 and 2010, and that's concerning. Like definitely 2009 with the uncles doing karaoke with the disco outfits. People let your light shine. Yeah, maybe something more upbeat and better than that would be good. Vic Lemon saying on the 31st of August and the 2nd of September, me and my family are going on a trip to explore the host country of France and Disneyland Paris, which would be iconic. Oh, great. Disneyland Paris, always a fun time, magical time. And I did see Ry Bailey earlier saying that they've got hotels and stuff booked for Nice. Good for you going to see Junior Eurovision. Should be a fun time. I'm sure we'll get some news about that. We've already got some artists selected and confirmed, and we'll get country announcements. Junior Eurovision stuff is just around the corner. I can hear Jess's excitement from all the way in Essex. So while we're waiting for some more comments in, I wanted to do a quick discussion point because I like the idea of during these streams to talk about stuff that's not necessarily about this year because there's not much news going on. So we can diversify. So what I'm going to do is I asked my guests beforehand what is sort of the earliest year they know roughly the songs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a random number generator between 2012, which is the earliest, and 2019, because that's recent, but also not ridiculously recent, where we would have talked about stuff in the past. I'm going to randomly pick a number, and I'm going to ask 2 questions from them. They're going to be simple questions. Don't worry. You're not going to be quizzed. It's opinion stuff, guys. Okay. It's not another one of my games. Okay. So I'm just going to do
It
the
was
random
definitely
number.
sounding that way when you started to describe it.
No. Relax. All good. I know how much you love my games, taking part in them for your stress levels, but I thought I'll pause on them. And so let's randomly select the year. It is 2018. So 2018 we're going to go on to. So one by one, I just want to quickly ask you, what is your favorite song from 2018? And people in the comments, please answer this question as well and let us know why your some of your favorite moments from 2018 in general and your favorite song. So Sarah, what is your favorite song from 2018?
Lie to Me.
Czech Republic. Why is that?
Yeah, I really like the song. I like the quirkiness of the dance and the backpack. It was like I was watching this nerd kind of like on stage, and I myself am a nerd, so I was like, oh my god, I could be on that stage too with my backpack and my quirky dance move, just doing the floss. And it was a really catchy song as well. The first time I heard it, I was like, lie to me, oh baby. I don't know, it just got stuck in my head, and I really like the happiness of it.
Can you floss, Sarah?
No.
No.
I tried so many times.
Safe answer, so you don't have to prove it otherwise. Lovely stuff. Stuart, your favorite from 2018?
I'm pretty sure it hasn't changed, but 2018 was my first year, so I was looking out for what would be my the closest to my home country, which was Austria. Nobody But You and Cesar Sampson. Maybe not the most typical choice among Eurovision fans, but it was the jury winner that year. And yeah, that song to me, it's the catchiest. It's among the most well performed, I think. And yeah, it's the one that kind of takes me back to that year.
And Burak, what about you?
I think mine has changed after the rehearsals, but overall, my favorite was Bulgaria, Bones, because when I listened that song for the first time, I was like, okay, the lyrics are so good. I like the deepness of the song. I like the dark mood, etc. So, but after rehearsals, everything changed on my mind. But overall, I like Bones a lot.
Well, I'm going to nick your answer, Burak. My favorite's Bulgaria from that year. I always say in general, the hardest thing a Eurovision fan can do is rank Bulgaria songs from 2016 to 2021. It's near impossible. They're all just ridiculously good. But Bones is my favorite. I love the anthemic feel. I love the dark mood. And similar to you, Stuart, 2018 was the first year I sort of properly became a Eurovision fan as well. I'd watched it in previous years, but didn't really pay attention. And just the idea of the crescendo and the power behind 6 really good, ridiculously good singers that would all stand their own chance as a solo artist performing this ridiculously powerful song. Yeah, it was incredible to see, and I also quite like there was an element of Wind Machine as well. There were some nice cliches in the performance, so that was all good. Let's go to some of the comments. I'm surprised this one has come up. Booker saying Fuego, naturally, of course,
Yeah.
big fan favorite. Mark is saying he loved Bulgaria, and France listened to my easy playlist yesterday too. How strange. Fate, I tell you, Mark. Fate. Sam is saying Hungary from 2018. I can understand that. I know a lot of people that loved Hungary. It's a very much a niche, but a popular one at that. Manga saying Fuego, of course. Lee Fern saying Cyprus from the ones he can remember. Jesse saying Bones. Lee Fern just remembering Bulgaria. I was surprised how badly, considering it was a favorite, right? I expected it to do way better. I can't remember the odds because I wasn't around them. Was it a favorite to do well beforehand, or?
Oh, I'm also not the kind of person to answer that question, because that was the first year I actually properly watched it. But I remember hearing rumblings about people wanted to see it do well. I don't know if people actually thought that it was going to win per se, but yeah, the impressions were generally positive.
Yeah, maybe it's because of their last 2 results being 4th and 2nd. They saw something was as good as Bones and thought this could be the thing that takes them over the edge. Bubble Pirate, hello, with an interesting answer here. June the Girl Same from Destination Eurovision in France. Now, I've never seen that national final, but from what I heard, it is one of the better national finals in recent memories and was a good catalyst. So I'd have to listen to that. I'm sure it is a good song. Rye Bailey saying Nobody But You. by Austria, not Australia,
Austria.
was his favorite. I tell you what, the results in 2018 are so weird to look back on. It feels like it's like the juries push one thing with the Austria and Sweden and all that stuff, that like contradicting what we were told the favorites were going in, and then it's just like the televote's like, no, we're going to push the favorites up, and not, we don't really care about this Austrian Sweden thing. I will say this though, as much as I love the new televote system of how they reveal the points, the with 21 points Sweden is the best moment of the era where they would do the points than the country. No one because I remember, and sorry for the Sweden slander if anyone likes Dance You Off, but I remember watching it because I hadn't listened to the songs for the beforehand, and I remember listening to Dance You Off and I was like, it's fine, and then it got so many points in the jury and I was like, why is it doing well? Then it got 21 with the televote. Yeah, adds up. Makes You're on my level, televote.
But wouldn't it have been even like more dramatic if it was done the way that we do it now? Because they would have been the second last to get their points, and there would have been this big expectation that like at least it would be comparable, and then it wouldn't have been like that. I think would have been even more dramatic.
It would have been even more dramatic. I think both options would have been great, but it was just the shock and the sheer expectation. Also, as a Brit, I remember we did slightly better in the televote due to circumstances that definitely were only the song. There was nothing else that happened that meant we did okay with the televote. But I remember like thinking at the time, oh, hang on, we're not one of the first ones announced. We might do okay. And then 24th, we'll take it. That would do. It's still one of, if I remember correctly, it's still like, I want to say third highest televote since they split them up into 50-50, and it's 25 points. Good for us, I guess. Well done. Crazy, yeah. Some more comments here. Mark saying he loved Hungary too, missed them and Bulgaria so much in the contest. Yes, actually, in the last week, Bulgaria have confirmed they won't be taking part in 2024. I think that's a fairly predictable outcome. Bulgaria sort of anticipated they would not be back in the contest anytime soon. It's due to their sort of priorities for the broadcast and their attitude towards Eurovision, sadly. Hopefully that will change soon. This is a very good shout from Pitbull. Hello, Pitbull. Thanks for taking your time away from Miami. He said, 2018 MALMÖ is the best song, Hello from Ukraine. That is one of my favorite Ukrainian entries of all time, to be fair. Very underrated, in my opinion, especially by the jury. What are your thoughts on Ukraine actually going around? Sure, we'll start with you. I realize I should probably point.
I have to say, I generally speaking, I'm a big fan of Ukraine. That one doesn't strike me as like among the best, but I still enjoyed the performance. I like, because that was the very first song of the night, and so it was like the first one, the first time I'm like, okay, this is Eurovision in the moment, and like I guess I was a bit distracted by the gimmicky aspect of it, the whole vampire thing, but I didn't dislike it, and I liked his performance. Yeah, I'm kind of like so about it. I think I'm much more partial to the more recent Ukrainian entries because they're more to my style, but at least I can say that it has that kind of like quality of most Ukrainian songs where it stands out in your mind easily.
Sarah, fan of MALMÖ?
I actually really like the song, and I like the gimmicky kind of Eurovision style. Like, I was like, oh my god, he's a vampire. Yeah, tell me this story. I don't know, I really liked it, and it also is just a song. 2018 was a good year, by the way.
Yeah,
there were so many songs that are like, they're going in your head and they never leave. And every time you hear a song from 2018, you're like, oh my god, yes, I love Eurovision. And I really like this song as well, and I like the gimmicky kind of stuff. I want to see it more and more.
To be fair, slightly off topic, one of my favorite, one of the memories from 2018 is the infamous semi-final one, which is widely regarded as one of the toughest semi-finals of all time. 19 songs, most of them good quality. There's also Iceland in there, but we don't talk about this. Iceland's entry from there. If you remember it, you know what I mean. Borak, you fan of MALMÖ?
For me, MALMÖ was one of the best opening songs in last decade, because I know that the song was in there, the performance was really good. Also, in that time, the Vampire TV series were really popular, so he connected with the young people, etc. I guess that was best participation ever.
Yeah, this comment from Mark sums it up best. Vampires were hot in 2018. What a time. They came alive in 2007 with Switzerland, and now they became hot 11 years later. Anyone remember that song with the mannequins and like the weird dance that they all did, pretending they could move? Yeah, interesting.
Any of the people who only saw the final probably have no idea what you're talking about.
No. It's something to Google after.
And I had learned not too long ago that was a favorite to win, and it didn't qualify.
It's so sad.
No,
Just
it's
to show
not
you
sad.
like what the 2000s were.
It's not sad that didn't qualify, I can assure you.
It's so sad when like a favorite to win doesn't qualify. Like what happened?
Well, didn't that happen the year before with Belgium, didn't it? Was Jetador was a fan favorite to qualify. It was a fan favorite beforehand and didn't even qualify. Very much should have in that case. Speaking of non-qualifiers, I love this mention here. 2018 Switzerland, I think, definitely deserved to go to the final. 100% with Stones was robbed due to its position in semi-final one. Still should have gone through, in my opinion. And actually, a nice shout out here, Island 2018. It's a very nice song. And I believe that's the last time they did qualify for the final. So it's a nice one to be that. No, shush you.
You had to get that in there.
Moving on to my second question from 2018. Sarah and Borek, for those that don't know, Stu continuously points out that I do like to do some comments for Ireland. Most of the time negative, but it's not my fault because half the time they are just facts. Okay, I'm just saying. So my second question from 2018, because I will say a couple people have mentioned it in the comments for this. Now, I will give you some time if you want to look at the list or if you just want the first name to come to your head. What is your least favorite song from 2018?
Ooh. Yeah, I'll have to look at the list.
Yeah, I will check this too at the same time.
Fair enough. Is everyone looking at their list? You can obviously say semi-final ones as well. I will just quickly scan through the comments because I did see a couple people put their least favourites in there. Rye Bailey saying Hungary was their last place. Does not surprise me one bit, Rye Bailey, that kind of genre you did not connect with. Glav saying they don't remember their number one, but they do remember their last place was Finland in 2018. I quite liked Finland. That one's a bit sour alto. That was nice fun. People in the comments, if you don't like, say your least favourites in the comments as well. Mark. This is a good shout, and I reckon, Stuart, this will be up there for you. That's How You Write a Song was the worst by quite a mile, in their opinion, from Norway. I'll kick off actually because I know my least favorite. It is Russia from that year with I Won't Break and Julia. It is a very screechy performance, I must say. The vocals are not there. She forgets to sing halfway through, and the overall performance is just very boring and bad. Sorry to say, it's deservedly Russia's only qualification in Eurovision. Does anyone else have their answers now, or at least the song that comes to mind one they don't like from 2018?
I got one. So I have to say, even just kind of looking at the list in general, there aren't too many really bad songs from this year. I have to say, it's not overall like, because there's certain years where you just know, like, oh yeah, that was really not good. But the one that I'm going to go with, it's definitely not a popular choice, but I do not like Denmark from that year. I think it's really, really bad. And I remember, I don't know if you were there, Harry, but I remember in Turin at the Euro Club, they played it, and it is not a club song. It is really awkward to dance to. You know?
I'm not sure but I do agree on that.
yeah, and like that was supposedly really popular with the fans. I guess again, like, you know, Vikings and all that. But I just found it really cheesy and not very well performed. I have to say, like not a lot of well hit notes. But yeah, that's just how I feel.
To be fair, the top 10 finish and the last time that Denmark qualified for the final. See, Ireland, I'm not just lambasting you. There are other facts I've got here.
But Denmark was in the final the following year with Leonora.
I am stupid. Sorry. Forgot about 2019. In the nicest way possible. That's understandable. Sarah, what's your least favorite?
I'm actually going to say Italy for this one. I know, very controversial, but I did not like Italy this year. It was so, I don't know, it was so much aggressive vibes in their performance, and it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me.
Fair enough. I completely disagree. It's one of my favorite Italian entries of all time. It's very good, but fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, I'm amazed that wasn't your unpopular opinion when you did the podcast a couple months ago. Like that would be perfect. Borak, what's your choice? Oh no, sorry, go on. Sorry. Oh, okay. Borak, what's your choice?
Okay, when I give my answer to you, I'm pretty sure you will surprise because when I said it, people are like, "Are you crazy? How can I like this country?" I never liked Romania. The Humans, the song is Goodbye. I just listened to the song twice. One they announced, the other one is in the semifinal. And I don't understand why people love that song because there's no structure, there's no meaning. I don't like the voice of her, etc. The staging was meh. And I just surprised people are loving it. And I don't understand why.
That one's fair. I think that's just more middle of the roads. Like it's slightly forgettable. In that sense. Going to the comments, there's some interesting things here. Hello, Adam Green. How are you? They're saying their least favorite song was Hungry for certain. Very much a polarizing one, Hungry. I think you either love it or you hate it, even though pretty sure in my ranking I have it in the middle. I'm an anomaly here. Sam must have loved the results. It's his favorite year, Sam. He loves it. Booker saying Sweden was his last place. Jesse agreeing with me saying Russia was the worst. Adam agreeing saying very poor in 2018. Mark disagreeing with you, Stewie, saying he loved Denmark 2018. He loved the Viking. Lee Fern with a very fair answer with Iceland there. That is, yeah, makes sense. To think the years after they sent Hatari and Daddy Freya. How'd they go from that? How'd they go from Ori to those two? All adds up. Adam's two personal favourites were Denmark and Cyprus, and Clav saying Denmark was my mum's favourite. She called him Danish Jesus.
And that's what I was looking forward to when he came out. I was like, oh, this will be fun. And then when they actually started, I'm like, wow, sorry to the people who really like the song, but I just found it to be really lame. I'm sorry.
There is only one Jesus in Eurovision, sadly, Clavs, and he is from Essex in the UK, and he performed in 2020. Cosmic Summers, hello. They're saying Moldova was great, nice fun one there, and Iceland was the worst. Joseph, you can immediately leave the chat. No, I'm kidding. The UK was average at best that year. Fair enough. Fair enough. It was fine. Mark, Iceland did leave us cold that year, but I see what you did there, Mark. Well done. You know who's hosting. And Ry Bailey loved Iceland, to be honest. Yeah, again, is it me? And I mean this in the nicest way possible. Iceland feels like the kind of song Jess would like. You know what I mean? Like, because one of her favorites is one of her favorites from 2020. I believe it is her favorite. Is France. So if that's her favorite from there, it feels like Iceland. Also be high on that list. Jess, if you're watching this back, please let us know if Iceland is one of your favorites. Okay, guys. Guys in the comments, we will continue doing this because I think it's quite fun. But if you have just any other general questions about this year, about general Eurovision, please put them in because we'll go to them as well, and we can come back and forth to this. Let's pick another year from that time frame. Let's see what we've got. Oh, a nice one considering who's hosting next year. We're going to MALMÖ 2013. So. Same questions. What is everyone's favorite from 2013? We'll start with you, Borak, this time. Guys in the comments, of course, 2013 favorites. Please put them in.
Can I check first?
Yes, you can check. Does anyone know their answer straight away?
I know my answer, but I definitely want a refresher on the year, so I'll just have it up here. My favorite from that year is Belgium with Roberto Bellarosa, Love Kills. Although not so keen on the staging, just really about the song itself. I think the song is great.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's my second actually from that year. It's a very good song. Sarah, do you have your answer?
Yeah, my favorite is Sweden from that year. I still have that song in my playlist, and I listen to it every week, and it just gets me so happy. It's like I don't know, it's just like a happy song.
It's nice, warm up, uplifting. Of course, the only time where the second chance round provided a winner for Melody Festival. And now, Sarah, I'm aware you are a singer. Can you hit the high notes of you?
No.
Okay.
So high.
It's a very good attempt, to be fair.
I'm low range.
That's absolutely fine. You did very well there. Burak, your answer?
Yeah, I find it was Anouk Birds. I love that song so much. I think it was my favorite Netherlands entry so far because she touched my heart. She was staying in there and singing, and she is just affecting us, etc. I love her so much.
Oh, the year that changed the fortunes for Netherlands. To think they went, to think what they went from to then is mind blowing. I hope they can do something similar with the MALMÖ change this year. My pick is actually a non-qualifier for this, and it's my favorite non-qualifier of all time. It is Israel's Rakbi Shvilo. It is why this didn't qualify, I don't know. I love, as much as I'm not a massive fan of the MALMÖ staging because I think it's quite small, the intimacy and the mood surround that the lighting and sort of the stage brought to Rakbi Shvilo, I thought was really good. The singer can really sing, like amazing voice. And I think an underrated thing just in general in Eurovision, Hebrew ballads do not get enough love when it comes to things that always work. Like that 2010's amazing, 2008's amazing, and 2005, all ridiculously good songs in my opinion. And yeah, Rakbi Shvilo, incredible song, definitely should have been in the final. Let's see what some of your picks are here. Lee Firm with a classic here. 2013 is Ukraine's Zlata Gravity. Yes, a very iconic entry from that year. Jackaboy saying definitely the favorite was Denmark. Of course, the winner from 2013. A great song from Denmark. They've very good. Birds and Gravity were Mark's favorites. Another pretty strong year. I think 2013 is actually quite an underrated year. I think that's got some good songs in there. It doesn't get talked about enough. ESC Manga saying Hold Me, the runner-up from Azerbaijan that year. Clabs, I love this choice. Greece was his favorite with Alcohol is Free. What I love about that is, since that's still Greece's highest entry since 2008. Like, that's incredible. To think they've got some like good quality. They've had like Amanda Telford, Stefania, like highly like well-respected artists, and it's the Alcohol is Free song is what Greece's legacy is still on. Very good choice here again for non-qualifiers. Love San Marino from 2013, and sad it didn't qualify. Yeah, that should have been the year Valentina qualified, in my opinion. Another fun one here. Kat saying her favorite was Finland with Marry Me. Very fun one there. Jesse saying patriotic about this one. A Nuke was my favorite. Joseph saying Netherlands first, Ireland finished last that year. No, that's not a comment from me. Just say I didn't actually read that part. I thought that said Iceland. And well, that brings us on. That actually quickly we'll go to Sam. Favorite with Hold Me. So let's go to the other question. Your least favorite from 2013. If does anyone have their answer, or do they need to look at the list?
I have my answer.
Go on, Sarah.
It's Germany, and not because it was like that bad, but because I remember being so excited about Cascada, because that was like my childhood. I listened to nothing else when I was, I don't know how old I was, maybe 12 or something, I don't know. And I was like so excited, and then it just didn't come to life as much as I expected, I guess, and it was just a little bit of a letdown for me. So that's why it's my least favorite.
Yeah, understandable. I quite like that one. It's in the last 10 Eurovisions is actually one of Germany's better performing entries, but neither. I believe it's their third highest, and that's it still came like 19th, which is not good. Stuart, your answer for 2013.
Again, I'm going to be at odds with some people in the chat because my least favorite is Azerbaijan. I do not like Hold Me. I find it to be very self-indulgent and not interesting visually. I know it's trying to be interesting visually, but I highly disagree.
I don't know how it can be self-indulgent. He's looking at someone else and mimicking him. It's almost like it's him in a bar. How is that self-indulgence? It's as much as I like Hold Me, it can be polarizing, I think, for some, maybe on the position as well. Borak, your pick?
Yeah, I just remember that it was Georgia. It was so boring ballad for me. And I just see that they were in the second semi. So in the second semi, they just go to the 10th place, to the final. And I was like, there are another countries, they deserve to be in their place. And I don't understand why they're in the final. I will say Georgia.
I'll be honest, I have this opinion for a while. If you asked someone to name and force them to name every single national final song from the last 10 Eurovisions, Georgia Waterfall will be the last song they name. I think it's one of the most forgettable finalists in recent Eurovision memory. Like, no one remembers that song, but it got to the final. And for Georgia, that's rare as well. Yeah, that's a completely understandable. More on the middle for me. My least favorite from that year, and it might be slightly unpopular opinion, even though it didn't qualify. It's Serbia's entry from that year with I can't remember the name of the band, but it's the trio in the ice cream salesman outfits.
Yeah, Libavne Suda.
Yes. Look, okay. I understand the meaning post listening to the song, but my sort of thought is my sort of thought is I need to know the meaning when I'm listening, because otherwise, what's the point? And when I look at the song, it just looks like a load of schoolgirls fighting for the attention of the main one. It's like, we're pulling this way, then we're going that way. I like, you do not get the fact it's devil and angel at all with the outfits. I know you get that in the national final, but it just looks like they're selling ice cream. They're being forced to do this musical thing in high school in these outfits. Or they all want the main part and they can't all have it. I was like, yeah, it's one of Serbia's first non-qualifications. It almost made it in. It was in 11th, but yeah, not a fan of that one at all. Probably my least favorite Serbian entry, of all time. What are some of your thoughts here? Booker saying, was Glorious really Euphoria 2.0? I don't think so. I don't know whether they mean actually from a quality standpoint or just like the song structure standpoint. I think neither, to be fair.
I have never heard a song that's been called a Euphoria 2.0 to be accurate. Like, it's just, I get it. Not everybody understands that style of music, but just because it has soaring vocals and an EDM beat doesn't make it a Euphoria copy, in my opinion.
No, LOREEN did not invent that style of music. Joseph saying Castella was disappointing, and Spain was their last. I think just a forgettable one for Spain. Not many people remember that entry necessarily. Mark saying they don't like Only Teardrops. I like it the least out of 2010's winners. That's impressive considering Azerbaijan 2011. But fair play. Cat or agreeing with you, Stuart. They don't like Hold Me. What is with the UK slander? I think you'll find Bonnie Tyler got us top 20, which is one of our best results in the 2000s, sadly. Look, what the fact I love about Bonnie Tyler is the fact that she's the only one that realized the main platform lifted up. She's the only one. She's the only one that used that. Just randomly, no one else liked to use the lifting platform. Adam saying that one of their favorites of 2013 is Georgia. Oh, sorry, Borak. And they're surprised they didn't come top 10 with a stellar performance. Oh, and the comment after is, I actually did like Georgia and Water from 2013.
I honestly, I kind of like it too. It's not a favorite one, and I understand what you guys are saying about it being kind of forgettable, but the performance kind of sold me on it, and I was fine with it being in the final. I think that the thing about 2013 is that there are a lot of good non-qualifiers, and like when I think about a year where that would be true, like 2013 is the most true, and like I agree with what you said about Israel. I also really liked Montenegro. I liked Croatia from that year. There's quite a few that didn't make it in that just seem to be better than a lot of the finalists, in my opinion.
Yeah, Switzerland was one of my personal favorites from a studio perspective that year, ignoring the not so great vocals of one of the people in the live performance. There are some good non-qualifiers. I think it's a very stellar year. Montenegro is a bit more polarizing for me. It's not necessary. Like I will sort of say that the UK told people how to do astronaut themed space performances at Eurovision a few years later with that. Victor saying hello, panel and chat. Nice to see you all. If you're just joining us, please let us know just some general questions you have about this year or the year coming up. You know what? Let's do one more because I think these are quite fun to look back at previous years. Oh, and another Swedish one, 2016. I'm assuming more people here would know about 2016 in the chat. Maybe 2013 was a bit far, but 2016 is a very iconic year, and it's another Swedish one. Hey, this is completely random, but we managed to get Sweden themed once. So, who has their winner from 2016? Who wants to go first?
Mine is not that surprising because it's the winner of the show. My favorite is from Ukraine and Jamala in 1944, and like I could elaborate on the reasons why, but I don't know. I think especially the events of the last few years have made it pretty clear as to why that song is important. And I've said this to you before, Harry, but I feel like this was a real turning point for Eurovision, where the songs and the meaning of the songs actually have like a correlation to the events of what's going on in the world, whereas Eurovision used to be pure escapism. And the audience went for a song. The number one choice of the televote was pure escapism, but because we introduced the juries, there was something that was much more meaningful and honestly much more artistic was the one that actually won. So yeah, I really like that song, and I think it's a great moment in the show.
Yeah, I think, I mean, two things I remember from that performance is the tree blossoming out of the floor is one of the most iconic frames in Eurovision history, in my opinion. It's a beautiful shot. And also going back to more recent times, I remember one of the highlights of the national final season last year, while there wasn't necessarily that many highlights from the actual songs itself in this national final, Jamala's performance at Germany's national final will always stand out as something that was very moving, very touching, and something I think we all needed at that time. It was ridiculously good to see her perform at the moment, and even without all the stuff nowadays, like it's still an incredible song with packed with meaning, and a very worthy winner. Sarah, what are your thoughts? Your favorite on 2016?
France.
France.
I love that song. This was the song where I first thought, oh my God, I learned something. I learned some French in high school. Like I understood what he was singing, and I don't know, I don't speak French fluently or something, but I know some words, and I was like, oh my God, I can understand what you're singing, and I don't even speak your language. So that was very nice for me. And he was very likable. He gave a solid, good performance. I really like that song.
Yeah, that's another favorite from there. I suppose before Voila, it was France's big hurrah from the last few years, and like you, I was able to understand a bit of it from my French. I remember understanding "You're the one that's making me strong." I remember that part. I understood what that. No, my French was not very good enough to know what it meant. I got a decent grade in French, but as soon as you leave school, that all went. Burak, your favorite from 2016.
I love that Jamala bring her story to the Eurovision stage and told everybody, but for me, it was the memes, right? Because my favorite was the meme. She just killed the stage. She just took everybody's attention, and for me, she made a history on the stage. For my opinion, she needs to win the Eurovision. Probably she will come back again. I just believe that. And if she will come back, and she will win for me. She will win for me.
To clarify, was that Australia you were saying? Your mic cut out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but one incredible voice, like ridiculously good. And imagine if Australia had actually won. The slight chaos that would have ensued with hosting and all that stuff. It would have been nice to, because hypothetically, I reckon it could have gone to the UK that year if results were, because obviously Australia couldn't host. It would have been nice for me, especially as someone half Australian, to see a UK Eurovision inspired by Australia. It's like, it's perfect. What else could we have there? Just get all the Aboriginal people, like some very Australian flavors would have been nice, and a very worthy runner-up, and Australia's best result. Let's have a look at some of the favorites here. Lee Fern, agreeing with you. Hang on, I haven't said mine. I've just realised. So think about me for a second. I've just realised I haven't said mine. My one is it didn't do that well on the scoreboard, but I think it's one that's loved by people. Mine is Hungary from that year, Freddie with Pioneer, and definitely part of that is Freddie's voice is ridiculously good. I do love a good rasp in a voice, and the power, the anthemic feel, all boxes that tick that tick for me. And yeah, best Hungarian entry for me. Should have done a bit better in my opinion. And speaking of raspy voices, oddly enough, my second favorite from that year is Latvia. So I was very much on the raspy voice train from 2016. Both very good. Again, my favorite entry from Latvia, and I believe that's the last time they qualified for the final as well. So let's go to some of the ones from 2016 in the comments here. Lee Fern saying Dami. Hang on. Lee Fern saying Dami in for sure. Rai Bailey saying that it was hard to pick so many good songs in 2016. A good one here from Buka. If Love Was a Crime, another Bulgarian entry, and the first big hurrah from Bulgaria in a long time. Very good song. I will always maintain, as much as I love beautiful beautiful mess. It would have been nice to see if Love Was a Crime hold on to the title of Bulgaria's best result for more than 1 year. I think it deserve more than 1 year, in my opinion. Joseph saying Australia was their favorite in UK. What is your beef with UK? I know we're not picking the greatest years for them here, but like, to be fair, UK was fine that year. It was middle of the road, and we did get a set of 12 points, which for a period of time was very rare. Very, very rare. Lee Fan saying they're probably one of the few people who like Switzerland from 2016. However, we all know her vocals weren't that good. Look, if you like doing squats while watching Eurovision, then Switzerland's your song. You know, it's a good exercise one. That she's the teacher. You just do a load of squats when performing. Yeah, not a massive fan of how they were performed. Mark saying Ukraine beating Russia in 2016 was so satisfying, even more so now. Some more here. Adam saying in 2016 would have chosen Bulgaria for the win. Rybelly saying his favorite was Poland. That was a big story from that year, Poland 2016, coming last with the jury, but then third with the televote. Are you sort of, because Poland's a big talking point here, are you guys more pro televote, pro jury when it comes to Poland, or are you somewhere in the middle?
Oh, as far as like, do we agree with which placements do we agree with? Oh, the jury, 100%. That song is screaming to me.
Sarah?
I'm kind of like in the middle. I don't know. This is just one of those things, like it's middle of the road. I don't know. I don't really have that distinctive of an opinion about it.
And Burak?
Same for me too, actually. It wasn't best song, but it wasn't the worst song too, so it was middle of somewhere. And I don't understand why the range was so high like that.
No, yeah. I mean, 2016 had some big ranges in between. It was very much, it felt bizarre with the first year of the televote and the jury system. Some of the diverse scoring there. I'm somewhere in the middle as well. It's a decent entry from Poland. Would I say it's that because it's their best performing entry for, I believe, 20 years? Would I say it's worthy of that title? Probably not. But yeah, it's fine. Stuart, because I remember we talked about this entry last year. Do you prefer this or Bebe?
Honestly, I prefer Bebe.
Fair enough.
Which is saying a lot. It is saying a lot, isn't it?
It is a powerful statement. if you're saying you prefer. Some other ones here. Midnight Gold, the UK's jury 12 points, if I remember correctly. But George's last hurrah in the final as well. Yeah, very, very experimental. Unpopular one here from Jesse, but they love Norway. And Adam's saying they couldn't understand why Norway didn't qualify in 2016 with Icebreaker. It's Norway's only non-qualification since 2013. I can sort of get it. Like it's the transition's just not there between verses and chorus, and I always find it hard to connect with metaphor songs where it's like I'll be this, because it just feels generic and cliche without much substance. But I can understand why people like it. There is a fun fact actually about 2016. When Sweden hosted, none of the Nordic countries qualified that year. Like Denmark, Iceland, even Estonia, if you count it, didn't qualify. Norway. So interesting omen for what's to come. Oh, Finland as well. They didn't qualify as well. Some more here. Pitbull saying Jamala and France from that year. Fia saying their favorites were Agnet and Rika. This is going to be bad. What was Rika?
Rika was Switzerland.
Switzerland. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair. So we've done. Hang on. Lee Fern saying they actually thought Switzerland would have a good chance of winning before the contest. That is why these are just predictions. We didn't, who knows what can happen. I'm being nice there, Lee Fern, with how I'm reacting to that. So we've done our most favorite. What's the least favorite then? Let's go from there. Does anyone have their answer?
I had it a second ago. Hold on a sec.
Mine is Germany. I did not understand.
What is your beef with Germany?
I love Germany. I wanted to speak Duolingo for German, but I just did not understand that performance. What was that? The outfits alone, like,
Did you not go immediately buy it? It was, you know, it was ridiculously.
Yeah, I
clean.
have it in my closet right now. No.
Was the Barbara Dex award around then? That must have won it, surely. That must have. With the what was it? The problem is.
Oh, it did. It did win. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course it did. Look, okay,
Wait,
fair
sorry,
enough.
no. Was it her or was it Nina from Croatia?
Oh,
Nina.
yeah, it was Nina from
Nina
Croatia.
won,
It was
yeah,
Nina
yeah.
from
Yeah.
Fair
Sorry,
enough.
I interrupted.
Fair enough. No, fair enough. Look, okay, I appreciate artists wanting to represent their hobbies and stuff on Eurovision, but if the song does not reflect the K-pop like theme she was going with Ghost, which it did not, then do not make your outfit like that, because it doesn't make sense. Like, I like American football, but if I ever perform a song about love and peace, I'm not going to come in like a full helmet and jersey outfit, because it makes no sense. Like, some things do not collide, and yeah, I can understand why Germany did. Well, I came at last that year. I can completely understand that. Borak, Stuart, either of you have your least favourites?
It was Greece, Ethiopian land. It was kind of mess for me. It was kind of different songs. When they mixed a different song, they just went to the Eurovision, and it was like, what did we watch? What is it? So my least favorite was Greece.
Least favourite was Greece, Stuart.
It probably is Poland, but because we've already gone down the Poland
your
route.
second one, then.
So generally speaking, there are always plagiarism accusations every year in Eurovision, and usually they don't hold a lot of water. But one that I cannot forgive is Cyprus this year, because it sounds exactly like somebody told me from the Killers. They are cut off the same cloth, in my opinion. And like, performance-wise, like, it's good, it's dynamic and all that, but all I hear is the Killers when I hear that song. So I have a very hard time giving it a lot of credit, and for that reason, I'm like, sorry, Cyprus, that was not your year.
Yeah, that's. I hadn't thought of that comparison until you told me. I don't mind that song, but yeah, that's a fair comparison. I agree. I actually do agree with one of your last places from this year. It is Greece. Is my last place. What was it? Like Greece are known for sending quality and stuff, and then they send rappers, which is that can be 50-50, hit or miss. Very much a miss in my opinion here, and the rappers had no charisma. The women had barely any charisma, and it was a flat song. It was a very flat song. I get it was ethnic. I'll give it that. It was ethnic, but there's a way to do ethnic and good. And it was Greece's first non-qualification to the final. I can completely understand why. There was nothing there to sort of gravitate towards, in my opinion. So let's go to some of your last places here. Booker saying their least favorite was the pee-pee dance from Switzerland. Look, squats, needing a wee. It's all the same thing. Adam Green saying they were disappointed when. Oh, hang on, this is a more positive one, but we'll still talk about it. They were disappointed when Czech Republic didn't get any points from the televote in the final. Yeah, they deserved it. They deserve more than one. More than zero. Especially, it was a bit harsh because it was the first time they qualified for the final as well. Bless them. But yeah, that's fair enough. Carol, I don't believe we've come to you, Carol. Hello, thank you for joining us. Nina is one of the favorite Balkan singers, but Lighthouse is her worst song. Also, it did kind of feel disconnected and artificial from ones that she did. Let me know in the comments, Carol, and maybe one of you can answer. Is her song from 2021, her national final one, more her style? Usually, like Balkan feeling anthemic style, because there's definitely polarizing styling there. I don't mind that one. It's probably one up there with a better Croatian one, but I don't know if I can't remember, because I definitely told you, Stuart, and Twan, who I was on the live last week with, this fact. I can't remember if it was on the stream. The interesting fact about Croatia is since 2010, their highest rating from their highest performing songs are actually 2017 Jak Kudek with My Friend and Let Free Mama Shku. There's a tie between those for 13th. What a god!
And only one of those is worthy of that position, if you ask me. And you know which one it is.
And if you ask me, you're being generous there, Stu. Just like what a if you like more typical style of music, what a guard of honor for Croatia. Like, at least their actual highest is not one of those. Like, I'm saying, I believe it's their first since 2006, which with what's it called?
Moja
That which is actually a good song.
Serena, yeah.
Yeah. Kat saying their least favorite was France. Interesting take there. Rye Bailey least favorite was Sweden. I get that. I think that was probably the most overrated in terms of results from that year. Like fifth seems high for that song. Lee Fern Montenegro with the real thing yeah. I you know how I said about raspy voices? That's a bit too raspy, especially considering they were coming off the highs of 2014 and 15. To go back down to that, yeah, not the best transition. Hang on, I can't. Surely this can't. If love was a crime and alter ego, are they your least favorites? You see, manga. That's the first time I've heard Bulgaria that low down. What's some other ones here? Jesse's saying they didn't like Estonia. The song was okay, but the performance was not good enough. You know what? Estonia is my favorite last place song in Eurovision history. Like, I don't love it. Look, it's like 13th or 14th in my ranking, but the actual song itself I think is quite good. The performance is a different matter, but the but the song is fine. It's not Estonia's worst entry ever, in my opinion. I think we all know that's 2008, or just something from around the noughties for Estonia. It's either that or did anyone? Stu, you might know this one. Do you know 2004? The one is like
I vaguely remember it. Yeah.
It's like the one with like six singers in a line doing this in an Estonian in Estonian. You Google it after, you know what I mean. It's bad. It's not. To be fair, even 2000. I don't know. Sorry, Polly, for bashing Estonia if you're listening, but also the year after with Let's Get Loud, Laura's first entry into Eurovision. Not. So some more here. Hodgepodge saying their least favorite was Belgium. Sam saying Norway was lacking. Mark just going off on a tangent. Dora was painful. I felt bad for Croatia. Each to their own. I'm not going to specifically say why I put that comment up. And Adam Green saying I would have had Belarus and North Macedonia in the final instead of Israel and Georgia. Am I correct in saying, I might be wrong here, am I correct in saying that if it was televised only, that would be the order? Or because I know Belarus and Israel would have swapped. I remember that.
Let's take a look. I've got Eurovision World up here. So I'm pretty sure North Macedonia is still not a qualifier. Yeah, because there's 9 up here. They were 11th with the. Sorry. That's jury. No. So yes. Excuse me. North Macedonia and Belarus would have qualified. Yes.
Over Israel and Belgium. Is that?
Over Israel and Georgia.
Israel and Georgia, that's what I meant. Yeah. Well, quick poll here for debate. Which combo do you prefer, Belarus and North Macedonia, or Israel and Georgia? Sarah?
I think Belarus and North Macedonia.
You prefer the naked man, fair enough. Stuart, what's your choice here?
Honestly, if I could have it my way, I would take one from each. I would take North Macedonia in favor of Israel and Georgia in favor of Belarus. But if I had to choose it this way, then I'll go with what it already is, with Israel and Georgia in the final and North Macedonia and Belarus out.
Borak?
For me, probably I will change Israel to Macedonia, and I will keep Georgia.
Fair enough. I only one of these is on my playlist, and that is Israel Made of Stars. So I'm going to keep the current selection. Funny one there, I remember, actually, just off the topic. I remember Serbia barely qualifying for that. And that is also another great one from Sanja, Goodbye Shelter. Very good song, underrated amongst the Serbian entries, in my opinion. Mark saying they definitely would have had Israel and Georgia in the final. Kat saying their least favorite was Albania from that year. Yeah, that was in their era where they changed it to English every year, and sometimes it worked out, and sometimes it did not. And yeah, this was not one of them. Hodgepodge saying Belarus and Georgia. It is nice to see like these debates between countries that are more 50-50 at best, with North Macedonia, Belarus, Georgia. There's some love from them back in 2018. Kat saying, me too, Slovenia's was poor too. Now, you were talking about plagiarism earlier, Stu. Look, there's not a direct song for Slovenia. But if that isn't just a Taylor Swift ripoff, I don't know what is. It is just a blatant Taylor Swift ripoff, Slovenia that year. And also the lyrics aren't.
I think it has more to do with her look. Like the overall style, I can understand. I'm not super familiar with Taylor Swift's music outside of like what her major hits are, but like I understand why people are like they look at her and they see Taylor Swift. But I think it has more to do with the look than the sound.
Yeah. Also, the lyrics are just top notch. Blue is blue, red is red. All that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I find weird? 2016 is the year that I remember being the year of one singer and then just a random dancer in the background. Like there was loads of performances with that. It was like Slovenia had the guy on the pole, North Macedonia had the drummer, Moldova had the dancing space astronaut in their one as well. Walk on Water had one. It was like there was a random. Every year has its theme, and weirdly enough, 2016 was singer with random dancer, which may or may not be needed. That was the theme. That was the theme. So, guys, we're coming up to an hour here. Thank you so much for sticking around in this slightly different style live stream that we have done today. I hope you all enjoyed it. I tried something a bit different because of obviously the lack of news, and it's nice to talk about other years other than what we have to get a broader range of opinions. Stuart, Sarah, and Borak, thank you so much for being amazing guests with your opinions. And hopefully we will see you next time, guys, whenever we do the next one of these live streams. Follow us, make sure to subscribe obviously to this channel. Follow us on all the socials: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We might be on. I should really look these up. I always do this at outro and I never remember what we're on social media. Follow
kids, remember Facebook?
That's
the air. Yes. And then make sure you keep an eye on the website for all the articles we're publishing out. And of course, we go to Spotify for the podcast that we do. There's not necessarily going to be one out recently, but you can always go back to the 2023 year that was and figure out our opinions and even some of the games we did on that show, which I know all my guests loved immensely. So that will do us for that, and hope to see you guys next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.